Yeah. Yeah, that's how girls are. Really? Yeah. Man, you're here. Can you believe it? Can you remember what it was like before when there was so much uncertainty? Horatio, what's up, man? Let's talk game. Come live. Come live, bro. Can you remember what it was like? Or is it too far in the past? Yeah. Dang. 20-year war vet. That's true. I mean, the more powerful you are, the better you take care of your family. Unless you're gonna be, unless they need you as like their caregiver, that you're gonna feed them and wipe their butt and whatever. But I think it's more effective for you to be able to like just work and pay someone else to do that because that's a menial task. That's gross. This is TikTok, but yeah, for sure. It's funny. I'm laughing. Unable to join Horatio. Yeah, you can't rely on anybody outside IMC. They just float. What's up, Patron? Right on. Well, I'll do a quick intro, everybody. I'm Yogi Chris, IMC Vegas. We're here, IMC Base 1. We're about to switch houses, but it'll just be another base. And this is where we all move to with AZD, the guy that you watch on these accounts, the bald guy with all the face tattoos, spitting wisdom about game, etc. Guy's apex player of Earth. But it's interesting, he's really more of a businessman. He's got like 4 or 5 or 6 different businesses, and the relationships just fit into his life. He's naturally an extremely charming, extremely charismatic guy, and a lot of self control. He has a lot of awareness of his communication, his state of mind, his emotional frequency, and he's got tremendous consistency of his signal. So his relationships naturally harmonize and orbit around his consistent signal. And that's what we all learned from him: nervous system awareness, nervous system control, and how that relates to the social dynamics. Because you got a lot of ambitions and things you want to do in life. You want to make the money, you want to be success in whatever ways. And obviously, relationship is going to be a part of that at some point, sooner or later. And it's going to be the biggest destabilizing factor of your life. Whatever success you have becomes a liability when the woman comes in and destabilizes you. Not because she destabilizes you, but because you're so fractured and non-resilient in your nervous system that, I mean, you just got to look around. It's not you personally, although it is a personal thing for you, only you can save you, but it's a common human ailment, a common, weakness of the male Homo sapiens, really, on Earth. And so we come in with the solutions. AZD gives us the solutions. He's at the spearhead of the movement when it comes to relating with women, as measured by the success, the number of relationships, quality, quantity, all that stuff that I'm always talking about. And that's just there just to demonstrate. Like he doesn't even post his girlfriends like that. It's not, his girls are inaccessible. He barely even talks about it, only just to come in and demonstrate, like, hey, don't forget, I'm the king of the game. Now listen to me and all these other things because it all relates to the game. And so you as an individual, as a guy, will come to that conclusion at some point that you want to get a girl and you want to get the girl that you want, not just any girl. There's a girl that you want. And how do you get her? And in the journey, you'll find, first of all, you have a big, 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 big illusion about that girl. She's a fantasy in your head. When you get to know her, she's nothing like what you think she is. So let go of that particular girl. Like you just got to get that girl. What'll happen is if, which is only like 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 or even less of you that pursue game, if you continue on the journey of game, you will find, quote, that girl in many different renditions, many different experiences. It'll still be that girl, and you'll have to handle that girl internally. Internally, you have an experience of that girl, whatever that girl is. And you got to overcome that inner experience because that's what's creating the turmoil. It's creating bad communication. It's creating all kinds of wonky game, basically. And so we've found that in the pursuit, when the man becomes honest and he goes for it, in the pursuit of the woman or women, there's a lot of unconscious mindset, unconscious behavior, unconscious communication. And it's fucking you in your own ass. You're putting your foot in your own mouth. You're saying things out of character. And anybody who really knows you, your best friend, your ex relationship, your mom, whatever, when they see you interact with a woman, they see you break character. You change characters around the woman of your desire. That's a character flaw. It's weak. And that's where AZD comes in. He's triangulated pure masculinity through, or the purest that we can see. The thing about it is he's an evolving teacher. His teachings evolve. They're not the same. They're never the same. So to say he solved it is just, it's an organically evolving equation that you have to keep solving day after day after day. And so everybody's trying to do that, but everybody's behind the wave. They're trying to surf the wave behind the wave. AZD is actually surfing the wave. So that's my intro. Everybody, we got a lot of people across different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I don't know if there's anybody on Zoom right now. No, nobody on the Zoom, but whatever. So comment if you're on YouTube or whatever, TikTok, Instagram, if you want to come live. That's always going to be the best conversation. What that would be like, man, I would just ask you about where your game's at, where you live, what's it like there, you know. Who am I? I'm Yogi Chris. I've been training with AZD for like 10 years, and I come from a PhD background, and before that I was a wrestler. So, and before that I was a Boy Scout, just white upbringing, military family, Boy Scout. So that's where I come from, and I came to game extremely square, burnt out on acid, and just hella nerdy in my engineering and was getting really into yoga and all that spiritual crap. And I still am. It's just now it's more grounded because the spiritual man, the yogi, and everything in modern days is very disconnected from the game. He sucks with women. He's the worst. He's so weak and pathetic. Even if he can go inwards and still his heart for like 2 hours. So what? So what? Everybody that does that should go off in the mountains and die by themselves because that's all they're good for. They're not good for anything else. They'll just teach you how to also isolate yourself from society. So the spiritual man has failed in relationships. And a lot of times that's why he turned spiritual because he was such a failure with women. He was miserable and he found some sort of relief in spirituality. That's what I did with drugs. I was suffering with drugs. And then when I came out of my fog through yoga and became clearer and got back in the game of life, and I realized I had no gain, I was very unsuccessful. I had more success than some guys. I mean, some guys will be virgins all their life. So I'm not comparing to that. But the girls that I wanted, I didn't know how to talk to them. Not right. I could talk to them, but it went nowhere. It was not game. They wouldn't give me time of day unless it had to do with, I don't know, finishing their homework assignment or something. So had to learn the game and started from not even zero, started from negative because I had so many wrong habits. And that's really where you guys got to think about. Like you could start from zero. Think of it as like an absolute temperature scale. There's absolute zero, nothing colder than absolute zero. That's like all the molecules have stopped vibrating. Everything is completely still down to the atomic level. Zero. Can't get colder than that. And then it goes up from there, up until infinity. And then there's like, Celsius or Fahrenheit, where there's such a thing as negative temperature. It still goes, there's still a limit to how cold it can be, but you could say negative 40 degrees centigrade or something like that. So it works in both ways. Guys, you're starting at zero. But really, guys, you're starting at negative because you have so many habits in the wrong direction when it just comes to relating, to express yourself, how to navigate your own feelings and emotions. And one of the most elusive aspects of the game for guys is the fact that being in a relationship long term is very different than picking up a girl. It's the same. Obviously, it's a girl, but it's different in that how you got her is not going to be how you keep her. Man, it's a trap. Talking about this is a trap. There's elements about how you got her that should stay, but then there's a lot of things that should change about your communication, your love, your trust, your rapport, your future, all these things. So, man, am I frozen on Restream? Tony, you're on the YouTube. I don't know if you see it. It looks frozen from my end. So, anyway, I'm like lecturing you guys. Hold schmoots. What's up, bro? I mean, you're new. You don't even follow the account, so I don't know what you know about game or think about game. At some point, I think AZD is probably going to go live on TikTok, so I'll probably jump in on that and check that out. You guys should also. And I'll open it up if somebody, TK, you're on. What do you guys think about what I just said? Let's get some comments. TK, still live, brother. Okay. That's a big lag. That's like 45 seconds ago I said that. So let's see. Who do we got here? Old school, what's up? Man, come live. Let's talk game. I want to talk game with somebody instead of lecture you guys. If you want lecture, you come to class. AZD has a free class every morning after we go out with him. So tonight we're going out with him. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on Zoom, just guys. It's a free game class. And you'll see a lot of perspective about his game, what's happening, what's going on in social dynamics, what is unconscious body language, what are social cues, what does interest look like, what does seduction look like and sound like when it's done masterfully, repeatably, scientifically, and at the same time artistically. That's the thing. People would think like learning game, it makes it so robotic and inorganic. That's how most people learn game. And then you have the other school of thought where it's like, I don't want to learn any game. Just do it naturally, whatever. Just be yourself. Yeah, except you're not really thinking outside the box. You're just going down your own patterns and whatever was modeled for you by parents, whatever. So you're being natural, but you don't even know how unnatural you're being. You're just doing what's familiar to you. Don't mistake what's familiar with natural. That's profound distinction. It may feel natural to you, but that's just because it's familiar to you. That's not necessarily your nature. You could think about using a toilet. That's not natural to use a toilet, but it is natural to groom yourself, to hygiene. Those are natural things. It's not natural to sit in a chair all day, but it may be familiar. So if you go to sit on the ground like your ancestors did, it'll be like unfamiliar, but it's actually more natural. It's not that it's unnatural to sit on a stump or something. You could take a seat out in the wilderness as a wild man, but you're not going to sit in a chair for very long like that. And you're still going to squat a lot and sit on the ground a lot. You're going to maneuver up and down a lot. And so modern humans don't. So what's familiar to them, but then they're uncomfortable sitting on the ground or something like that. It's what's natural has become unfamiliar and uncomfortable. It's like that with game, but a lot more extreme. The nature of men and women, you're not operating on that. And we train that, and we have an exemplar, an exemplifying example, whatever the fuck the word is. AZD is an apex player that every night he goes out with us demonstrates how he just cracks open a female's psychological shell through body language, through sound, through animation, through timing, and it's all so natural because he's not thinking and strategizing about it. You couldn't think and strategize that fast, how fast he maneuvers. Because there's all kinds of random variables. When you go out, you can't control what's going to happen. Ex-girlfriend comes up, bouncer has a problem, a new girl comes, somebody like all kinds of shit. Drink falls, we get banned from that strip club, have to go to another one. Like crazy shit. The girl you were talking to gets fired. Like, you can't plan for these things, these contingencies. So it's about being tapped into a zero point that's infinitely adaptable to go left or right. And not only adaptable, but maintaining a, a familiarity. I don't want to use that word again, but maintaining a resonance and a closeness to that seduction vibration, that frequency of readiness, alertness, playfulness, bad boy, don't give a fuck, but gives a lot of fucks, free, abundant, but not seeking, complete and whole. So not seeking. So if you were abundant in money, but you were not seeking love at all, you wouldn't necessarily use your money to get girls. And then there's somebody else who doesn't have a lot of money, but they are seeking like a motherfucker and they'll go into debt buying prostitutes. That's how needy they are, but they don't even have the money. So it's not about being abundant alone. You got to be non-needy. And it's not about being non-needy alone, right? Because you have to have an air of abundance about you, an aura of abundance. You don't have to be spending a lot of money, but it should be implied that if he wanted to spend a lot of money, he would. They don't have to know that you don't have money or not. Maybe you do. Just like they don't have to know that you have a lot of other girlfriends or not, or you do. You don't have to or not, but they should get the impression this guy gets girls. It's okay if they ask. If they ask, it's because they got the impression. And if they got the impression, then you did something right. And then as you get more and more refined with that, you'll give them the impression And you'll do it so cleanly and so authoritatively that they would feel foolish to ask. They just assume, yeah, he gets girls. And if they keep talking to you, then they fit in the frame. That's how you do multiple relationships. You have to have an extremely certain frame about it. And yeah, there's an element of fake it till you make it, supposedly, but not really. Not with AZD. You learn the structure and the mindset. And then if you don't have multiple relationships, you still have the structure of multiple relationships. You just don't have the girls as evidence yet. And there's a truth that when you get the girls, you'll see that you are distorted in a lot of your ideas. You think you know game until you have the girl, and then it's like, oh shit. But that's when the teachings will awaken in your mind. Oh man, that really made sense. You didn't even appreciate AZD's teachings enough until you got a girl, until you got two girls. Then the philosophy comes out like a motherfucker. And when you go through turbulence, heartbreak, breakups, cheating, second girl, third girl fights, no girls, when you go through those fluctuations and you handle it with so much certainty and not wavering, simply because you studied AZD, that's when you'll have a better perspective of how valuable it is. God forbid you had $1 billion business and then you go through a breakup and turbulence and you have to close yourself into your room for 3 days or something because you're shivering. Nobody wants to talk about that about the game, and you'd think, well, the guy's so weak and like that, bro. Every guy's like that. If they're not, it's because they've drunk themselves or drugged themselves stupid, and that's why they're not shaking in their bed. That's what it feels like to go through a breakup if you really, really, really like the girl. So overcoming that, your nervous system has to be, and the truth about it is, the more stable you go through that, the more likely the bitch even comes back. You don't have to chase or anything. Your standards actually get higher and higher. So if she does come back, she has to fit into a more orderly standard. This is the only game on earth that succeeds in long term relationships. The only game on earth is AZD's game. Every other game is just caveman. So, I mean, it's game to the element that it's caveman. It's 40,000 years old, 40,000 years in the future. And all of the students of AZD are hundreds to thousands of years in the future because of studying with him and of him and all that stuff. And the more we go out with him, the more it's really, it's everything. It's anywhere between 50 to 99% of his teachings are in person. You still need some of the teachings and philosophies. He's not going to lecture you when you go out, so you need some of that. What's up, Marco? Guys, we got guys coming on. I got to end this and go to the next thing. But if you want to talk some game, I'd love to get to know the guys that follow these accounts because I pressure you a lot. I'm always posting, I'm always messaging you. And so it'd be better to get to know who you are a little bit so it's not just like spam messages in your inbox because I will remove you at some point if you're not replying to messages. I don't have time to fuck around sending message over and over to people. So if you want to learn game, if you're interested in game, or if you're interested in that guy AZD, like who the fuck is he and why am I always talking about him and why can you not peel yourself away from his video clips? Then let's talk. You don't have to sign up for anything. I just want to talk to guys outside of this house and IMC Nation movement. I'm only talking with guys inside the IMC Nation movement. And then the girls that we go out and the girls that I have relationships with. So it's a little bit of an echo chamber, or maybe that's not the right word. It's just like a narrow perspective. I want to talk to the guys that don't even know really what I'm talking about. See if we can bridge the understanding. Because that's where I get my best practice in. JB is. I'm gonna end it over here on Instagram. I want to check TikTok on this other phone. So tap in if you catch this recording. Link in the bio for the Telegram group. Free class is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mickey B, free class tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Os. What do you guys think about that? I hear you, man. Mickey, are you gonna make it to class tomorrow? 10 a.m. Pacific. Where are you from, Mickey? Washington State. What's it like there, bro? How long you been there? It'd be great if you could go live. It'd be a lot faster. Otherwise, we could just talk another time. But do you have any questions about game or the class tomorrow that you'll be coming to? Like, what is game? My whole life. Right on. Alex, what's up? No questions. Right on. Well, are you looking forward to class tomorrow, or do you think you're not going to make it? Basically, it'll go for about an hour to an hour and a half. Debriefing, as we call it, how we go out with AZD, what it's like, certain experiences. We've gone out with them, some of us, many, many times, hundreds of times. So we've gotten very refined and precise at being able to describe what we're seeing. And the thing about it is, he keeps getting better and better. It's not like we're seeing the same game the last 200 times. It keeps changing. I'll be double booked, probably not. Damn, that sucks. Well, maybe next time. Otherwise, just sign up for the university. It's only 47 bucks. That's 3 days a week with AZD, 3 to 4 hour lectures. You get 2 days to watch the lecture before they're deleted. But there's little audio files in every lecture that he creates these AI inspired audios that teach game, different perspectives, different elements of communication and presence and things like that. They're very profound, very good. That's what's archived in the school platform. So I recommend get on university so at least you're evolving with us and then come to the open classes when you can. Those are extra. All right. All right, everybody. I'm going to tap out right now, get to the next stage of the process, getting ready to go out. I'll see you guys hopefully open class. Go to the link in the bio to join the Telegram group, guys. And I'll see you on the next stream. Be the best. Fuck the rest. IMC Nation. Os.